All right, guys, in this video here, I want to answer Richard's question, both for him and just record it just for anybody else that wants to watch this and get some insights on the best offer to bring in potential new members. So Richard's asking here, kickstart or challenge to help with new potential members. Good afternoon, team. Getting my ducks in a row for the next quarter. Would love if any members could share some insight on how they run kickstarts or challenges, however you brand them. Our gym runs 7 classes a day, 5, 6, 9, noon, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30. We currently on-ramp individuals with one-on-one sessions, and if they have odd hours, by inserting them in a class with additional coach watching over them and being their shepherd for roughly 2 weeks. When running challenges, do you have a system for herding large groups of individuals that sign up for them, such as class for challenge members, or do you treat them on a case-by-case basis as they sign up? Yeah, so really good question here on how to do fulfillment. It's really what we're asking about here is a fulfillment question of like, how do we serve these clients if we sell them something different, right? So this gym owner, Richard, he runs a CrossFit gym, and from what I'm gathering, he does, probably a couple on-ramp sessions to show people the basic movement patterns of CrossFit and get them somewhat familiar before they go into a class environment. And that's how he normally runs things. So he's tooling with running another offer with bringing people into the gym by using a challenge model, a 6-week challenge model. And this is a common question that a lot of gym owners ask, like, how do I fulfill on that? Now, what I'm going to tell you is you actually don't need to change anything. And in regards to like how you run classes. So all the challenge is a bundling of existing services, right? And you're going to add some additional things on to keep track of the challenge people in the challenge. But as far as how you fulfill on fitness, so I guess the best way to think about this, let me get out my handy dandy whiteboard here to break this down for you guys, is, if we're running a challenge, let's just get a pen out here real quick. Okay, let's find. It's going to give me something to write with here. All right, let's find out where this pen and paper should be. There it is. Draw. Okay, here we go. So you got right here what is essentially your challenge that you're selling, right? This is your offer, and your offer really is just 3 things, right? You got fitness. You got nutrition, and you got accountability. You could also sell this as mindset, right? Because that's what accountability does, is helping them shift their mindset, right? So your fitness is just however you do it, right? So this already exists, right? Like, you're going to give them the same thing to start because it's already what you do well, right? You don't really need to change that. All you're really doing in the challenge is setting the criteria for how they use fitness, right? So the criteria for how they use fitness in a challenge, if I were to put it here, just move this up here, is like, you're going to say 3 times per week minimum attendance. That is the challenge, right? You're issuing them a challenge. So you're telling them, as part of the challenge, you need to attend 3 days per week minimum attendance of classes, right? Nutrition. Okay, so this is the Atomic Nutrition Coaching System. Okay, this you guys already have access to, as if you're in BLG and you're watching this. This is Atomic Nutrition. Quite literally, what Atomic Nutrition was essentially built around fulfilling on a 6-week nutrition challenge launch. Right, that's what it is. So you literally just follow it to a T, and you follow the process, which is essentially like when they start, you do a day 1 weigh-in and set goals. You do a week 3 to 4 check-in, and then you do a weigh out at the end. Okay, that's really all it is. And you guys have the tools for that as well, right? You don't need to reinvent the wheel there. Now, accountability and mindset really happens by way of the Atomic Nutrition Coaching System with these check-ins and weigh-ins, right? But what you might want to do, and this is the only place segmenting needs to occur, is segment this group for one-to-many guidance. right? The same way that you currently run a group class and lead people through the class together towards doing the same workout every day, you're just doing with nutrition in a group. And you can put them in a Facebook group, you can put them in a group chat, you could put them in Coach Catalyst, which Aaron gives you in Atomic Nutrition to have the system do the follow-up and the one-to-many guidance, right? That's really all it is, right? And what you're doing, the main goal of a challenge, because I saw a comment here. Okay, so if we go here, Mike Monarch commented, I tested the challenge thing and didn't like it. I pulled in the wrong people. It pulled in people who weren't really interested in changing. We currently do all of our on-ramps as one-to-one and the occasional semi-private when scheduled again. Now, that is one gym owner's experience, right? And he might be right in his market. And knowing Mike Monarch, he runs a very, very successful gym. Mike Monarch also specifically, like, he runs a very strength and conditioning intensive type of gym, not so much like a transformation type of gym. And I'd say his audience and his market is definitely probably more averse to doing types of challenges, right? So that being said, like, his experience is probably not going to be yours. My first gym was not that way. My second gym very much was that way. My second gym was in a market where there were a lot of people that were interested in changing. We were near a university, and there were a lot of people that wanted to get in better shape, and like the challenge thing actually resonated very, very strongly with them. Now, the problem with challenges becomes that they often there's a high churn rate with them and it's not the fault of the person, right? They're coming in with that mindset, right? So they're coming in with the mindset. Let me just go back to this real quick here. So the average person is coming in with a specific mindset, right? So we just grab this here and say existing mindset, right? And from here, you have your challenge, right? You have a Zoom. There we go. Let's grab this guy here. We have our challenge that you're selling them, right? The challenge is the vehicle for change, right? Like, people don't generally want to change. They will you can sell them on the idea of change. And I love Mike Monarch. He's one of my favorite people on my program. But I would say that if they didn't want to change, it's actually his fault, right? And it might just be that he's okay with that. He might be like, hey, it didn't work for our model because I'm not built to get them to change. And that's really what he should say in this situation. That's probably more of a personal responsibility thing of like, hey, we don't have the systems to change these people, because literally what you are selling is a vehicle for change. So what they're doing, gym, is they're saying, yes, the proposition of changing sounds nice. I would like to do the challenge. Please change me. And out the other side of this person comes a new mindset, right? So their mindset shifts. And 42 days is just barely enough time to do that if it's good, right? So right here, new mindset, okay? So that's the idea, right? Like, and if we were to look this up, let's type into ChatGPT here. Let's just ask it. On average, how many days does it take for the average person to develop and adopt a new habit? Okay, so there we go. It takes time for a person to develop and adopt a new habit. It can vary widely depending on several factors, including an individual's motivation, the complexity of the habit, and the consistency of their practice. The popular notion is it takes 21 days to form a new habit, and is a common belief is not backed by scientific evidence. This research shows it can range from 18 to 254 days with an average of around 66 days, right? So you're giving them with 6 weeks, 42 days. You're not expecting a full change with the person, but you're expecting some movement and some shift. And the idea is really, I mean, the 6-week challenge is really not intended to be the beginning to end, bookend to bookend of their change, right? All you're really doing is this challenge, if I'm honest with you, is actually a sales engine. So you sign them up, they go through, they start making some change, they're 2/3 of the way there, and right around here, they start to have some hard times with it. Somewhere in the middle to the end, everybody's going to be challenged by it. They're going to not be getting the result they wanted, and your job is at that point to step in. So right around here, the 3 to 4 week mark, which is part of the Atomic Nutrition stuff, towards the end here, we resell. Understand? We resell. We don't just sit on our hands and say to the person, oh, you didn't hit it, that sucks, you must not be a fit for our gym. We say, hey, we both know when you signed up for this that this was going to be a tall order and that you were probably not going to hit this goal. But we gave it a try, and you did pretty good. You didn't lose 20 pounds, you lost 10, and that's awesome, high five. But we still got some work to do. So what I want to do is take a little bit of this money you spent on the challenge and give it to you as a discount towards your ongoing membership. So we can continue to work on this new mindset, right? This is a sales engine, right? It's a front end offer. It's not sell them a 6-week challenge, let them flounder, and then hope they stick. You know what I mean? It is using your ability as a coach and a guide to move them closer to the target, right? So we're not expecting, as Mike Monarch said here, people that are interested in changing. Actually, I would argue him that they are interested in changing. They just don't know how to change, right? That's the problem. Is like, if people knew how to change, they wouldn't show up in the first place because they've got the tools. If they didn't change, it's because we didn't have the tools, right? Now, Jen Thurman here said, we do all of our introduction to CrossFit sessions as one-on-one. It gives the client an excellent experience with eyes on them, top-notch preparation. We have, however, considered running a group kickstart and would incorporate our current CrossFit class, quick fit classes. That's a great idea. That's what we did at our gym. We actually gave them access to our CrossFit Lite program, which is a program that ran in a different room. It just depends if you have space and if you have a program like that. She's giving them one-on-one nutrition coaching. I think you can just do it in group with the Atomic and the group mindset habit coaching, which is really, a lot of that's delivered via the Atomic Nutrition program. You enroll the customer in with Coach Catalyst. It delivers the mindset and accountability coaching to them every day, and they got to do things every day that are part of it, right? So that's really what, this right here, this accountability, this is habits, guys. This is what you're telling them here, what you're coaching them through every day. I'm going to just delete that. Let's go back. This right here is, if I move this, daily habits and routine and all the little things, right? Like waking up on time. And it's like, it's giving them things every day to do that are new and like holding them accountable to doing them and asking them on a weekly basis, hey, like, did you do your routine this morning? Did you get up on time? Did you prep your food? All of these things. Now, if your system is not built to deliver that level of accountability, then that's not their fault, that's yours, right? So I would say going in that this is what you want to think about, right? And it might require a development in your skill set as a coach, because you might be a really good fitness coach, but you may not be a really, really good accountability and mindset coach. You might feel like you are because you do a good job coaching and people show up for your classes, but that's just because the product's really good. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like having someone listen to you from an accountability mindset standpoint, that requires a shift in our mindset as leaders, right? So that's really, really important to understand of what you're going into with a challenge. And I'll tell you, like, our gym, given our demographics were probably different than Mike Monarch's, but it wasn't easy. We had to redevelop like our entire system for that 6 weeks to build this part out here, this part right here, and this part right here. And that's what Atomic Nutrition is we literally are giving you like the keys to the car with that. This part, though, you're going to want to get with the team and talk about like what you're doing. It's a new mission, right? The mission changes of like, we're no longer just letting the fitness work for us on the habit side of things. We're actually going to like really coach these people on what it's like to be like to live a proper active lifestyle outside of the gym and outside of the nutrition, right? This part is pretty much going to go on the same way it always has, and you're just going to set an expectation with a minimum number of classes, right? So that's it, right? And honestly, that should really be all you need to do with the challenge. It's not, it's just making a bolder promise, right? Like with the way you do fitness now, you're not really making that bold of a promise. You're saying, hey, come do CrossFit. It's awesome. The community's great. They come in, they love the community. The classes are fun, and it's worth a couple $100 a month. When you're selling a challenge, you're selling something that's $400 and $500 and $600 a month on the front end. You're also making a bolder promise. Now, if you don't have the tools to deliver on that promise, again, that's our fault, not theirs, right? So, and if we know we don't have those tools going in, we either shouldn't run it, or we should say like, hey, we need to develop those skills. And if I'm honest, I think every gym owner could afford to develop those skills better, because it's, most gym owners are not that well developed in the realm of mindset and accountability, like to really shifting people's behaviors and like helping them develop new habits, right? So for us, we learned a lot about the way people think. And we served a lot of people at our gym over the years running a challenge model. Now, that being said, it's not for everybody. In a gym like Mike Monarch, he runs a very successful gym, $80,000 months. He doesn't need to run a challenge. So for him, testing something like a challenge, he might throw it out there, see if it sticks. And if it doesn't, he might just say, hey, it doesn't work for us because we don't have the systems for that, right? But I wouldn't say it necessarily doesn't bring in people that don't want to change. If they respond to the ad, they want to change. And who doesn't want to change? Change is the most exciting thing that anybody in life will go through. Of course they want to go through change. Everyone wants to go through change. They may just not want to do it the way that you want to provide it. So it's finding a way that serves them better. So yeah, guys, hopefully that makes sense. Let me know what you think.